Okay guys, let's talk about fat loss, a subject that is important and sensitive to most of us, and you wouldn't be watching this video if it wasn't important and sensitive to you. Everybody wants to lose fat, okay? From the morbidly obese down to the lean athlete and movie star. We all want to look better, we all want to feel great, we all want to have minimal amounts of body fat. Now, I'm going to come out at this video from the perspective of a regular person, okay? So not an athlete or a movie star that needs to cut weight to get in, to make weight for a competition, or to cut weight to get in shape for a movie. This is coming from the perspective of a regular man or woman in the street, all right? Now, the reason I'm going to come at it from that perspective is because we want this person to maintain this fat loss for life, all right? And not just to get in shape for a competition or a film. Or if we put that into the programs that are sold to most people in the street, you know, get ripped for your beach body in 6 weeks, get lean in 12 weeks, get in shape for your wedding or an event or your party or something like that, because these always backfire, all right? And the reason that they backfire is because they're just focused on an end date, and all they are based on is deprivation and punishment and restriction that does not get you to look at your whole life in general, all right? Now, I'm going to give you my opinions on this, and I'm going to give you some facts on this. I've seen a lot. I have been a health and fitness coach for many, many years, and I have over 20,000 hours one-to-one experience in coaching people for performance, fitness, health, and fat loss. So I've seen super success stories with people. I've had many failures with people. I've had successes and then relapses. So I've seen what works, what doesn't. And from all that experience, I'm going to give you my ideas of what kind of works for the best way to go about this for long term. All right. So if you want to just get in shape and ripped in like 6 weeks, which you will relapse from, okay, you can do that, but I'm not your man for this, and this is the way it's not going to go on this video, okay? Right, now, so the reason that those quick fix programs don't last or don't succeed fully long term is, like I say, they are based on restriction, deprivation, and punishment, and all you see is an end date where you can run back to Domino's, stuff your face full of pizza, and then all too sadly this goes wrong is because it does not get you in any way to talk about to think about your life in general and where it's heading and the bigger approach, all right? So that's why I'm against quick fixes. Now, the approach, if you see me just messing here, I'm just scrolling up my notes. The approach that I'm going to advise for you may take, a little bit longer, but hopefully by going at it this way, you are going to keep these results for life, all right? And what's more, you will be a lot happier along your journey for doing so, all right? So then, excuse me, sorry. I'm drinking Diet Coke here, all right? Nothing's banned in my programs, okay? On warm, sunny days, I sometimes have a Diet Coke in the afternoon, and it is a warm, sunny day today. So that is what I am doing. Right, how are we going to go about this fat loss then? So in order to lose fat, right, we all know this. You got to be in a calorie deficit, okay? Now, it's not so easy though, is it? Because this is the point where you could switch off the video and go, oh, what's the point in listening to this? We know we got to eat salad and go to the gym. We know that. But the reason I'm making this video is because it's not so easy, is it? Right, so we're going to explore the reasons why it's not so easy. So, as you know, we got to be in a calorie deficit, all right? Now, why is it not so easy to lose weight then? It's not so easy because your body is hardwired to store fat. This is how humans have evolved through the years. When we see calorie dense foods, we eat them because we never know where the next meal is coming from. Now, the trouble now, of course, these days is that there is never any shortage of food. And with the aggressive marketing of fast food, there is more food and crap food about than ever before. All right? So this is really pushed at us, all this crap food as well. My personal biggest bugbear is the message we are constantly fed through the TV and radio, which is to just eat. I mean, what an instruction for life, eh? I mean, I can't tell you how much it makes my blood boil. Just eat. Don't laugh or sing or play or jump or dance or sing or read or educate yourself or anything like that. Just eat. Yeah? So you see, my point here then, the system is set up for us to gain weight. It's not so simple as I should just have willpower and exercise self-control. The system is set up for us to gain weight by organizations and companies that do not care about our health and well-being. The people that work for these companies are good people. You may be one of them. But the organizations are set up purely to get you to buy more of their product. And no one gives a rat's ass whether you get fat or die from any metabolic illnesses. It's just you've got to buy more, all right? And when you fail, when you get fat, when you keep buying more, the blame comes back at you to say, oh, you should have just exercised self-control and it's all about willpower, isn't it? Well, it's not so simple as that. And, you know, an example that I might give as an equivalent here is that it could be like putting heroin in all the aisles of Tesco's, sending a junkie in and just telling them to exercise self-control. You know, a lot of these products, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinions, are addictive, all right? So this is kind of why it can be a little bit difficult. Okay, so you got to be in a calorie deficit, all right? But we'll cover the addictions and things at another time, okay? So you have to be in a calorie deficit. Now, there are 3 ways that you can be in a calorie deficit, all right? Most of us just go to the classic way, which is to move more and eat less. But we also have move the same and eat less, and move more and eat the same. But whichever way we go about it, we've got to be in a deficit, okay? Now, what's probably going to happen with your decision to change is that you are going to go with the first option of move more and eat less. And it's here we have to get it right, because it can all fall down if we're not careful. Now, you may have previously been part of the, the January brigade, shall we call them. You know, the ones that fill the gyms at Christmas, they go in every day and then quit in February. And we can use this type of person as an example of why it can go wrong. And this is why, right? By the way, constant message throughout here, drink water. I'm a little late saying it 8 minutes into the video, but drinking water is important. Now, back to move more, eat less. If you suddenly go from the state that you are in into increased activity, then you are going to require energy to do it. If you go from being a couch potato or relatively sedentary into going, right, I'm going to go to the gym now, I'm going to go get fit, right? It requires energy to do this. Now, if at the same time we move into energy expenditure and we reduce our energy intake at the same time, okay, this is where we're going to grind to a halt. Example, imagine getting in your car, then deciding to drive 350 miles without refueling. What's going to happen? It is exactly the same. We don't blame the car for not having willpower. It's a simple case of not having the fuel to meet the demands. This is why the January brigade quits, and many people quit when they start exercise, because they try to create too much of a gulf between how much energy they expend, and how much energy they take in, all right, without working these things out. And when it goes wrong, we just blame willpower, all right? Okay then, excuse me, all that Diet Coke, goodness me. Now, the way we've got to go about this, right, is we've got to be cool. We've got to be patient, all right? We've got to hang on a little bit, right? Our goal, so we cover exercise. Our goal with the exercise is primarily to build muscle. Now, it's here I want to quickly reassure all females who are worried about becoming massive, like one of those women with big muscles, that this will never happen to you, all right? So do not fear about gaining massive amounts of muscle, because it will not happen, all right? The reasons that those women get like this, all right, is through an insane amount of food being eaten, plus injecting steroids that will get you to be like that. But it's never going to happen to you, right? It's never going to happen. I get loads of women lifting massive weights and it doesn't happen. All that happens is they get lean. So we're going to end that one right now, all right? Now, our goal is to build muscle. And the reason being is that muscle requires energy to live. Fat doesn't, muscle does. The vast amount of your calorie expenditure throughout the day is going to happen away from exercise. Simply existing and living, me being sat here, is where the most amount of fuel gets burned, all right? Not in the gym. It's important that we do work in the gym, but it's not in the gym where the vast amount of fuel gets burned, okay? So the reason that we want to build muscle is because if you have more muscle, then you are going to burn a ton more calories watching TV and sleeping than somebody who doesn't have muscle while they're watching TV, right? So our goal with exercise is to build muscle. That's what you've got to think of, right? And this is why weight training, picking weights up, tops out other stuff, all right? Long, slow, steady cardio work, walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, rowing slowly for long periods of time, slowly, is not the best way to go about this, all right? And, you know, the running and jogging craze has got a lot to answer for when it comes to obesity. Now, I know you're all going to look at me like this and go, what are you talking about, man? What does this idiot know, yeah? Just look at the people. Look at long distance runners and look at elite cyclists. They're skinny, all right? Yes, I know they're skinny. But let me tell you something special here, okay? Skinny people like running and cycling long distances, okay? That is why you see elite athletes who look thin participating in these events, all right? It's very important that we understand this, okay? Now, it's very important that we understand this, that skinny people like running and cycling long distances. And an analogy and a comparison we're going to give to this, right, is for those of you that want to run and cycle long distances in order to get skinny, then you should take up playing basketball in order to get taller, okay? That's the comparison. Running and cycling long distances doesn't make you skinny. Skinny people like running and cycling long distances. I'll tell you something that running and cycling long distances will do for you. And I know because I cycle long distances now. And in the past, I used to run marathons. Running and cycling long distances will make you very, very hungry. All right? That's a key point to know here. Okay? And like I say, I know this because I've done both. And there is I never have a feast on me or a hunger on me like I have when I've got back in from a 100-mile bike ride, okay? It's ferocious. Exercise is the key one. I used to be feared of saying this, but get on this, yeah? Exercise does not make you lose weight. Exercise makes you hungry, all right? Wow, how staggering is that, hey? Being in a calorie deficit will make you lose weight. Okay, so my advice to go about being in a calorie deficit is to do it gradually, okay? And this is why, and this is how it's done. As we get older in life, we become set in our ways, and it becomes very difficult to alter our lifestyle. If you like going to the pub with your friends 3 nights a week, it's very unlikely that you're going to suddenly stop doing that if that's what you do, okay? If you suddenly stop and try to stay in eating celery every night, then that approach will only last a few weeks before you crack and go back to the way you were. So it's a gradual approach which is much better to help you either alter your lifestyle slightly, or you keep the same lifestyle, but you just go about things a little bit less, all right? So one example that we could give is if you go to the pub 3 or 4 nights a week and drink a lot, we can start with saying, and here's weight loss advice, go to the pub 2 nights a week and get drunk. Okay, that could be a way, because what we're doing here is we're starting to put you in a deficit a little bit. Now, while you're at the pub, here comes an extra challenge, all right? If you normally drink 8 pints, start by having 6 pints a night. So this is where I'm coming at here, right? You've got to get these things. If we're going into fitness and we're going into weight loss, whatever your level is, we just need to reduce it a little bit more. So if you are at an extreme level, it could be that the advice I give you is to go to the pub twice a week, 3 times a week, and drink 6 pints, all right? That could be the advice I give you. You just need to be consuming less than you normally do, all right? You'll find you eat and drink about the same amount of calories every day throughout the week, all right? You'll eat about the same all the time. And if you go high on one day, you'll go low on another one. And we've just got to get you going lower than you normally are, all right? So that could be the advice. Now, you drink 6 pints instead of 8, or 6 biscuits instead of 8 biscuits, whatever it is, wherever it is you overconsume. And providing you are in a deficit, then we are on our way to success. And providing you don't eat that back the next day because you're hungry and thirsty, then we're on our way to losing weight, but your lifestyle hasn't changed, all right? Your lifestyle hasn't changed, because it's when we try to change lifestyles that things can become that little bit more difficult. Now, a little sidetrack to this is that if you are someone that drinks in the pub 3 to 4 nights a week with their friends, it might be a good idea to look at changing your lifestyle, all right? I know we say it's difficult to change our lifestyles, but if you have a lifestyle that's like that means you're drinking 4 nights a week, getting drunk 4 nights a week, it might be an idea to look at changing your lifestyle, because you're probably heading to an early grave with that approach, okay? Now, this is a big reason why anyone who comes to see me for fitness and fat loss gets steered towards team training in groups, and or competing in sport. Once you get into training together with like-minded individuals, or you start racing and competing in sport, then your lifestyle may change into one that is far more healthier and, crucially, as I said before, happier, all right? It's important that we're happy. Happiness is a whole new issue here, okay? And we'll cover that another time, but trust me, anyone who's sculling 8 pints 3 to 4 nights a week isn't happy, all right? If you think you are, you just kid yourself because you're kidding yourself because something's missing in your life, all right? And I'll be bold and I'll come out and say that. And I know this, right? This is why working with me, a man that's near 50 years old and has been in this industry a very, very long time, knows this because I have lived like this for a while, all right? And now that I don't live like it anymore, trust me, I'm happy, and getting up at 5:30 a.m. and training with my guys is higher than any Saturday night on the booze will give you any time. But we can cover that another time, all right? Right. Okay then. So happiness, that's important, all right? And this is what I do. Yes, I am not a personal trainer who gets you to tone up and lose weight. I am someone who gets you to seriously think about your long-term health, all right? It's about happiness, okay? About the happiness. These are the things we got to think about. Some have even called me the ghost of Christmas yet to come, all right? Because I'll get you thinking about the future, all right? Not 6 weeks down the line until you get a beach body, but we get you thinking about long-term future, all right? Making sure you don't die before your kids leave high school, all right? So these are the big things, but I'm not going to scare you too much about that now. Back to calorie reduction. Excuse me. Now, you will find that you will generally eat the same amount of calories every day, all right? And if you eat more on one day, as I've just previously said before, you'll eat less the next. So a good approach here is to look at your week's calorie intake. And you might want to track your calories for this. I kind of know intuitively when I'm eating too much, and you probably do yourself know when you're eating too much, right? Or too little. But you could use calorie trackers like MyFitnessPal, right? So you could start off on this by just eating regular, which might include your 8 pints, and just filling in what you take. And if you do that over the week, you'll see that there's a regular amount of calories that you generally eat, all right? Divide that by 7, and it comes out with what you're kind of eating on an average day, all right? Now, by looking at your current calories over the week, and you can maintain your current lifestyle, but you just cut back gradually, 6 pints instead of 8. As I said, you can still go out, you can still eat Pizza Hut, you just need to cut back a little. Maybe don't have the cookie dough with your pizza, all right? But just keep remembering, you have to be in a calorie deficit. It doesn't count saying, I've been to the gym today, right? It doesn't count, right? You have to be in a calorie deficit. If you're not expending that amount of energy, that much energy at the gym, because believe me, there's a vast difference between going to the gym and what you actually do there. If you're not in a calorie deficit, you're not going to be losing weight, all right? So you can't go to the gym and then eat a pizza because you've been to the gym and think that you're in a deficit, all right? You've got to be in a deficit. There's no hiding places around this, okay? Now, as well as food, right, there are other areas that play a key role in your weight loss. And one of the most important one of these is sleep, right? So if you do want to be successful in weight loss, I'm going to give you a recommendation, and that is to read a book called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. You can listen to it on YouTube, and Matthew Walker has been interviewed many times with different people on YouTube as well, so you can listen to that, watch those. But believe me, sleep is extremely important if you are looking to lose weight. And if you aren't optimizing your sleep, then you are going to struggle to resist temptation in the way of food. Tiredness plays a key role in getting people to eat more, all right? So this is why when we kind of say things like, oh, I've just not got enough willpower. If you're tired, you're going to find it difficult, all right? So as I'm saying, if you want to lose weight, my biggest advice is understand sleep fully, all right? And get yourself 8 to 9 hours of solid sleep every night, because you will perform better in all areas of your life, including your ability to resist foods that you know are going to be detrimental to your weight loss, all right? So sleep, movement, nutrition, and relaxation are all massive players in your weight loss quest. You have to be in a calorie deficit though, okay? Now, but it's not so simple as just targeting that area of food. If it were, then weight loss would be easy. Sleep, if you get your sleep right, then a multitude of other areas improve too. You'll have more energy, be more confident, be more intelligent, be more ambitious, which can all lead to weight loss. How? Well, just imagine it, all right? If you are confident, happy, intelligent, active, etc., you are not going to stuff your face with crappy food every night. That's for sure, all right? So just to kind of finish off on this one, trust me, right? We're talking about fat loss here. This is a fat loss video. Start with your sleep. If you want to know how to lose weight, read Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, all right? That is my number one tip. And drink lots of water. Keep drinking water, all right? This is a key thing. Trust me, sleep and drink water. But you still got to be in a calorie deficit, okay? Now, a big question you're probably thinking you should address then is, what should you eat? Well, in theory, you could lose weight on a diet of Mars bars and Heineken, providing you are in a calorie deficit, but that isn't going to be good for your health. So whenever possible, you should aim to eat as good quality food as you possibly can. Locally sourced organic meat, fish, and vegetables should make up the bulk of what you eat, and you should drink water, lots of it, all right? I'm going to kind of leave it at that. 80% of what you eat should come from real food, if you can make that. Locally sourced vegetables, meat, fish, and water, that should make up the bulk of your diet. Nothing's banned, but that should make up the bulk of your diet, all right? Because if you eat those kinds of foods, you are not going to crave the highly calorific, energy-dense, poor nutrient-based foods such as, takeaways and chocolates and crisps, which are designed to get you to eat more. Remember, if you eat real food, you don't think, oh, I'm gonna eat 16 broccolis, right? You only eat 1 and 4 chicken thighs or something. You don't overstuff yourself on real food. It's not engineered to get you to eat more. It's engineered that you feel full and satisfied and then stop. All right. Now, regarding macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, I'm going to keep my advice simple here. Eat high protein to maintain muscle and keep you full, along with good quality fats. Remember, we want to build muscle, all right? So you need protein in order to build and repair muscle, okay? That's important. Proteins and good quality fats, which are essential. The other macronutrient, which isn't essential to your diet, is carbohydrates. You might not know this, but you can survive without carbohydrates. It is not an essential food to your diet, okay? Carbohydrates are for energy, but they won't fill you up. Now, they can still be important, all right? When should you eat them? Prior to intense training, all right? Carbohydrates are very useful for intense training, but beware, if you don't use them, you will store them. So if we're thinking of our goal here is to build muscle, all right, you may want to eat some carbohydrates prior to an intense training session, all right? Now, this is really important here, right? Going to the gym is different than an intense training session. Intense training sessions are where you move above and beyond what you have done before. So you lift heavier or you lift the same for longer, but you go further than you've done before. You can't do that every training session because the energy demands are too much for that. It's too intense and it can result in breakdown and fatigue. But you will need carbohydrates if you are training regularly. You can survive without carbohydrates, but you just need to take longer in between hard training sessions, and you will find doing intense long aerobic efforts tough without carbohydrates. But if we want to lift, because we want to build some muscle, we can eat carbohydrates to perform intense training sessions, but we make them intense, and that's where they become useful. All right. That's where they become useful, carbohydrates before intense training sessions. So an example with this one, nothing is banned, all right? I eat takeaways, I eat crappy foods, but one way where I may differ from average Joe is that after I've had my chippy tea, you can guarantee the next morning, without anything to eat apart from liquid, I will be doing an extremely intense training session. And I use it as fuel. And I might even kick on and perform better that next morning and go to personal bests, lift heavier than I've ever done, or lift heavier than I've done for a while, right? But if you stuff your grid the night before on crap, and you get up in the morning and go, oh, I feel a bit crap, I'm going to have a bacon sandwich to make myself better, then you've banked it. Then you've banked all that crap, all right? That's it. That's what happened. You've not used it. You've not used it to go sprinting or lifting. You've banked it, all right? Okay. Right. Now, that's it. That's the way I'm going to have it for now. You've got to be in a calorie deficit. But my advice, my big tip is to go about this gradually, all right? And look at improving your lifestyle. It's difficult to change our lifestyle, but if you can change your lifestyle for the better, just gradually, all right, you're going to gain more success. If you need any more help, reach out to me and give me a shout. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.